Halloween is a $9 billion a year business that, according to the National Retail Federation, that found people usually spend an average of more than $86 each to celebrate. Now, business reporter and video blogger Leslie joining us now with a breakdown of what people are spending their money on and how you can cash in on the holiday craze.
Last year, Americans spent more than $2.6 billion on Halloween candy, more than $2.7 billion on Halloween decorations, and more than $3.2 billion on Halloween costumes. With so many people spending so much money, it's only normal for local entrepreneurs to think about how they can capitalize on Halloween. If you own a small business, here are some magical marketing ideas.
Halloween can be a scary holiday, but it can also offer small businesses a chance to connect with its customers. You can start by dressing up your products. That means if you own a restaurant, offer Halloween-themed specialty desserts and drinks. And if you sell clothing, add a couple of costumes to your inventory. All these visual innovations can be captured in photos and posted to social media. You can also offer customers trick-or-treat promotions. Start an email marketing campaign where your consumer base can click and choose between offers. A trick can be a small discount, a treat a larger one. You can revamp your website by adding some fun Halloween imagery, some scary fonts, and even some ghoulish audio. And pushing Halloween-themed content is a cost-effective way to drive holiday shoppers to your website. Think short blog posts about easy Halloween costumes for kids, or how to decorate for a party, or how to make fun Halloween-themed food. And no matter if you have a brick-and-mortar store or an online storefront, hold a costume contest. People can drop by in person or send you photos via social media. Throw everything up on Facebook or Instagram and give your customers a chance to win a prize.
So for next year, think about opening a Halloween consignment shop or organize Halloween parties for kids. You can start a face painting business, make and sell costumes for pets, or organize Halloween costume competitions. Maybe invest in creating some Halloween-themed t-shirts. So instead of thinking of Halloween as just an excuse to dress up, use it to make some extra money that you can spend during the holiday season.